Witches Hill.
Hello and welcome back to Witches Hill. I'm Pat.
And I'm Tim.
And we are here with a very special interview today.
We've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Oh yes, we've been planning this out for quite some time now.
Yes, we are with Dove and Warwick of Ghoulish Mortals.
Of St. Charles, Illinois. We've talked about them a lot on the Facebook, so if you haven't seen any of our posts, you might want to get on over there at facebook.com/Witcheshillradio. Check out some of the cool ghoulish things that they have in their store.
Yes, welcome to the show, guys.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're excited to be on. We've known you guys since the very beginning. I think they were some of our very first customers.
Absolutely.
And it was a whole year ago.
Exactly.
April 6th is our 1 year anniversary, so
that's exciting.
That went by fast.
This is perfully timed then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, once we heard about it, we were just like, wait, what? There's actually something cool in St. Charles? We have to go. We have to go.
We get that a lot.
Well, and honestly, your guys' buying habits are what... And we expanded like the cathedral section primarily because you guys were always coming in and buying whatever we had, and so we're like,
you
kept
guys
on bringing more stuff in.
You guys have influenced us too, so.
Yes. Yeah, honestly, it's perfect for the area, I think, because it's just, ever since I can remember, anytime Halloween comes and all the costume stores open up, I view that as, oh, hey, I can get new house decorations.
Yeah.
No, I don't have to wait till Halloween to do that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That's how we were too.
And there's a better surplus of stuff here anyway. Like
and also, you know, the problem with the classic pop-up Halloween stores that show up around in October time is often the quality of the product, because it's only supposed to last for the Halloween season, is often not as good as it should be or could be, and so we kind of pride ourselves on having, you know, these. We're not a Halloween store; we are a horror and monster store.
And we absolutely love that.
Yeah, and it's, you know, the majority is all local artists, and, you know, they put their all into the craftsmanship because, you know, like anyone would put their all into their own work, you know. So.
Oh, and it shows.
Yeah, one walk through the store and you can see the quality just radiating from everything here. So I guess without further ado, we can just jump into these questions. Yeah. So what initially brought you into the horror community?
Well, I think we've always been in it, but as far as opening the actual store, we moved from Los Angeles, well, actually Orange County, about 3 years ago, and then moved here, and we're just, I want to say, like, disappointed. We'll go with disappointed that there really weren't any like horror or year-round Halloween stores out in the Chicago area, which really surprised us because it's a big metropolitan area, and you would assume that, like Los Angeles, there'd be like 5 or 6 really cool stores that you could frequent whenever you like felt, you know, the inkling to go like look at horror stuff all day. And so anyway, so like we had kind of talked about it, and then we saw the space and actually walked inside, like we instantly saw what it, you know, what we could make it into.
And then because it's the proximity to Rocket Fairs, we figured we'd have like, you know, instant audience of people walking out of Rocket Fairs looking across the street.
Something else to do since,
seeing,
you know, it's a little empty down here, you know, in downtown St. Charles. So I'm really hoping, you know, we can like kind of lure other like interesting businesses to the area, you know, because between Rocket Fizz and us, like, you know, it gives you something to do for a couple hours, you know, it's you know, it's a fun corner. And anyway, so we decided to open the store, and we had never owned a store before. So like it was kind of a learning process, but yeah, I mean, like, you know, we frequented enough horror stores to know, like, you know, what we kind of wanted. I mean, we took the best of everything we liked about the horror stores back home.
And then also, you know, when we were back in California, we used to do home haunts around our house. And it was, you know, every time we did it, we always had different themed areas. And so it was very important for us when we opened the store to kind of keep that themed area going on. So, you know, there's 5 or 6 different themes in the store, and the items that are in each one of those themed areas kind of goes along with that theme. Yeah. And so, you know, when we've had new artists submit their work, it's, you know, it has to fit within a certain, you know, theme of the store.
Okay.
And that makes it fun, especially for kids that come in. You know, it's just that larger than life, you know, you know, just to have it be surrounded by whatever the set is. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I would have went wild in here as a kid.
Yeah, right?
What?
Yeah, and that was another thing to go back to, like, the incarnation of, the idea for the store. Like, just we're kids in this area, going to get, like, their cool little horror, like, things for their room and their folders and their laptops and stuff. Because, in LA, like, I went to all those horror stores my whole life,
Right.
and there's nothing out here. So we had to fix that, so.
That's what we did.
We're fixers. But yeah.
Well, how did you get the name Ghoulish Mortals?
Do you want me to answer that? Well,
Sure, go ahead.
Having, again, grown up in Orange County, California, I was at Disneyland all the time, like pass holder. Even before, they did the passes, I was always at Disneyland all the time. And, of course, you have to go to the Haunted Mansion. And it just a complete love affair with everything that is Haunted Mansion. And so it's a play upon, the whole, like, welcome, foolish mortals. So Ghoulish Mortals, I figure anyone who likes this kind of stuff is, in fact, kind of ghoulish and hopefully mortal. So,
Yes.
Hopefully.
So far.
So far, yeah. But yeah, so like it just was kind of a play on, just like a tribute to the Haunted Mansion. I would have the whole store Haunted Mansion themed if I could, but unfortunately there isn't that much merchandise out there for that artists are doing. And then also, we like all the other stuff too.
Right.
That's awesome, though. I really respect that.
So, do either of you guys have a favorite item that you currently sell?
Well, that's a good question.
I love all the dolls by Amy's Abominations because they're so twisted. I mean, just like whenever I sell one, I'm a little bit sad that I don't get to look at it anymore. And I know she'll make another one, not necessarily. She never makes the same one twice, but I just think they're just so deranged that, I think they really add to the store. I think everyone that comes in really appreciates them as like the little works of art that they are. So
They definitely stand out. When I walked back here and I instantly saw it, right to it.
yeah.
Right to it.
Yeah, she's so talented. For me, it's since been sold, but Blood Brood Effects brought in these creepy critters, and one of them was actually a hand puppet, and so it's the skull of a rat with a hand puppet. And it was just the cutest thing. It's like, so I would like walk around and greet customers with this creepy rat with a skull and stuff. And, sadly one day someone bought it. I was really sad.
As is true, with Amy's Abomination, same with Blood Brood. Like they don't make the same thing twice in terms of like the critters. Yeah, so.
And actually, so my current favorite in the store is another Blood Brood product, which is the heart in a box over there with the maggots on it. That's actually one of my favorites in the store right now.
That is really cool. And it's so gory. If I saw that in like the woods, I'd just turn and run.
Or would you?
Okay, yeah, I guess I don't know.
But it's funny because it's like, even though I know in my head that the maggots are obviously not moving, every single time I look at it, I swear that they move. They clearly don't. I understand that. But there's just something about the way they're positioned in there that they just look real.
I'll call your optometrist tomorrow. It's time for that yearly checkup.
What was the first item that you've sold, if you remember that?
First item.
I remember I hugged the guy, right? Because I was like, "Oh, you're my first thing." What wasn't it?
Well,
I think it was a Lydia Jean.
It was either Lydia Jean or a Ghoulish Bunnies.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Lydia Jean. It was the beer crawl zombie thing.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, the pub crawl zombies.
Yeah, the other the thing that's amazing about this 1 year later thing is, so we opened the store. We had 6 artists in here.
And we were so smart. Well, you remember.
Oh yeah.
And
there were entire areas, certainly in the back area, the more creepy area, that literally had, other than the props that we've created, had like nothing really on the walls.
Yeah, and people yet still kept coming back. But yeah, I mean, it's like, anything that unless you're independently wealthy when you start, like, things take time to get to like where you imagine it.
And also, it was because most of our artists, in fact, almost all of our artists are here on consignment. We really are very thankful to those original artists that had the belief in us to basically give us a whole bunch of product. Now it's a lot easier because it's easy to take pictures and look at the filled walls of artwork and product to try and get a new artist on board.
Right, and they also can read our reviews and know that we're
legit.
Yeah, we're legit.
Very legit.
Yes, that's it. But yeah, so, now we're actually running out of wall space in a way.
Yeah.
Right?
So we're now talking about, we're going to probably be expanding into the back room.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh,
Yes.
that makes me really excited.
Well, and actually, and to that, so basically the plan is, because we now started doing the parties downstairs, we kind of realized the folly, for want of a better phrase, of the bathroom for the store is through the scary door here.
So the kids, if they are having a birthday party downstairs, they have to walk through the
scary section
to get to the
bathrooms. And so basically the change is going to be that front section is truly going to be 100% kid friendly. It will still have the classic horror and stuff, but so nothing questionable. This middle section, the skulls will move here, the Ouija boards will move here, and the zombies will probably stay here. But what that means is the back room can be a lot more scary.
Yeah, a lot gorier.
A lot more gory.
And then that way we move the people pot. Everything with blood splatter and gore moves to the back room. So that way if your child has nightmares, it's your own fault for bringing them all the way back there.
Right.
No, I'm kidding. No, but in other words, we'll still let everyone know, kind of like we do now when they pass the middle section. We say, well, the back's kind of scary, but and we always encourage parents to come out and check it. To see,
beforehand.
Yeah,
Right.
and some parents are like, psh, whatever, my kid's seen everything. And I'm like, yeah okay, have fun. So
if you could get one item in your store for either sale or for decoration, what would it be?
Well, for decoration...
do we get to plug our own products here?
Well, so I'll do mine, then you do yours, but mine is actually somewhat for you anyway, which is... who's the company that does the crawling spider thing on the ceiling?
No, I think they're talking about things that we have.
No, all props for the store.
Oh, you're saying if I could have anything that from any Transworld or anything like that. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were talking.
Yes.
Sorry. Oh, go ahead.
So there's a company. Do you remember what they were called?
No, that's why I'm looking at you don't tell that story. But they were at Transworld a couple years ago. And
they had this spider that basically was on a rail that you'd put on a ceiling, and on cue, on a button, on a sensor, the spider would crawl rapidly towards you.
But it wasn't really a spider. It was a mutant of a spider and a woman.
Yes.
It was
spider-like.
It was
really cool.
It's kind of like what's under the table, or under the sheet here, but only well done, really well done, by an actual artist, not me. But yeah, just it was so jacked up looking. And,
it was awesome.
And then they weren't at Transworld this year, and I was so sad because we had friends with, and I really wanted to show it off to them because they were there the last several years, and they just weren't this year. But yeah.
So how about yours?
Oh well, I thought they were asking if I could have any product that's in the store. I was going to say, I was going to say, the Infection collection. But no, it's all right. If I could have anything for the store, oh God, there's so many things by Midnight Studios that is from Transworld. They just everything they do, I want in the store. They're all these life-size, just amazing standees of everything you can think of, but everything they do with their alien set is just, oh my God, just
it's phenomenal.
The best.
Really good.
I mean, the alien has has a almost like a misting bubbler underneath its chin, so it has this
sprays.
It's sprays and drips at the same time as it's standing there. It's really cool, and they have it at Transworld every year. But anything you could give me anything in their booth, and I would just lose my mind.
It's awesome.
We're going to go down there.
I know. I've never actually heard of it until I saw you guys posting about it.
Oh my God, you really?
Yeah.
You have to go because I'm sure you could probably get
in.
in as a press. So
yeah, absolutely.
That'd be cool.
It's it's the whole pass for all 4 days, 3 days,
$60.
something it's $60. It's the cheapest con out there, and it's just pure Disneyland. It's just you're
it's awesome.
oh my God, oh my God, oh my God! Every turn, people are running around small children, with big smiles on their faces, looking like they're all sugared up. But
it's the happiest time of the year.
I'm telling you, it's Halloween's the happiest time of the year, and Transworld's the second happiest time of the year.
Oh man, my bank account's gonna scream at me.
Yeah.
Yes. That is the problem.
Just have to win the lottery before going down there. It'll be
Exactly.
fine.
I don't know if that would even cover it.
Just like I need more, I had to take out a loan. What inspired you to start Little Jar of Horrors?
Okay. We, again, like work and I would do the different home haunts year after year, and we thought it would be really cool to have the kids that would always, my son's friends that would work, for free in the haunted house. I mean, as you've worked in, I'm sure, like haunted houses as a kid and stuff, it's like so much fun. Like you wouldn't care if you were paid or not. But the point is, like, so would have like, 15, 20 kids that would always work in the haunted houses. I thought a cute way to repay them would be to have their heads in a jar, and they could take it after the haunt. But like it was always in the hillbilly hack shack area because we always had this set in our haunt. And so I'll just photograph them ahead of time, and then they'll be in the haunt in their little jars, and then after the haunt they could take them home. And a lot of people would always come out because Warwick.
Right.
I was always an actor in the haunt, and he would always like have the table to control the intake and like ask people how they thought it was.
Because I built the haunt.
I just wanted to sit
and enjoy people who have enjoyed the haunt.
And I enjoy scaring people, so yeah. So I'm always in the haunt, but yeah.
But so basically, right around the time we first started doing Little Jars of Horror, there was a thing, tutorials online on how to do exactly what we do. The problem is they always used to use like a pretzel jar that made the head either look tiny inside this huge jar, or if they tried to make the head the same size as the pretzel jar, too big. So it just didn't look very
we
real.
were just hypercritical of it. Being that I was a children's photographer for 20 years, and he would do all my Photoshop, and so like being that we know how to do all that, like we'd just be like, well, if I could do it, I'll do it better. And then like, why can you see the seams? And so like that's how we came about it, is like trying to improve upon.
Right, and so the Dove spent a huge amount of time researching jars that would actually fit a human head. Our jars are a specific size that like make the head look as though it's filling the jar and stuff. And so
well, hopefully you guys didn't get put on a list for that.
Hopefully not. Yes. Although our Etsy store, all of our images have to have a censored logo across them because someone complained about the image of a severed head in a jar.
Yeah, a fake severed head in a jar. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
So how do you guys like being in St. Charles?
Well, we love it. I mean, it's still new and novel to us. Every time it snows, we're like, oh my God, it's snowing, as Californians. Like,
yes.
And everyone's like, yeah, just wait, give it 20 years,
But but we love the city. I mean, it's what, like, now that we're business owners in the city, as Dove mentioned earlier, we just wish that there were more retail stores downtown. There's lots of bars, there's restaurants, but there really isn't a lot of retail space downtown.
Right, and not that we want to be Geneva, where it's like all like
no.
little, where you can go buy teacups and olive oil, or something like that.
Two different olive oil stores.
Yeah. In other words, I think it would be really cool if we had a collectible comic book store down here. There was like an independent, independent businesses that have like a really cool, quirky idea, and they put it down here. I mean, like across the street, like the home brew shop. I don't have time in my life to brew my own beer, but if I did, how cool is it that it's right there, and you can hit all the bars, and and you can go in there and actually drink beer that they make there. I mean, it's like I love the unique and quirky.
Yeah, it's like you walk down Main Street, and there's this, there's a lot of places to let. And it's kind of weird because when we moved in here, there were a few things that we need to be able to do, put the awning up and several things like that. And we actually went to the St. Charles, what's the small business people?
Oh, well, downtown St. Charles
St. Charles Partnership. And they gave us grants for a lot of the stuff. So it was like they were really, really good to us.
Yeah, they really try to put incentives out there to attract businesses to downtown St. Charles. So anyone listening to this that has a quirky idea, definitely like go into
Lucas and Charles. It's
it's
really good.
Like they're really good.
And I think basically it was because we weren't another bar or a restaurant. It's like we were something different for the downtown area.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were here for the grand opening. It seemed like a very, very welcome opportunity.
Absolutely.
Everybody came in,
and the city was there too for that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I said it's like I would never have anything to complain about the city. It's like they've been great to us.
Yeah,
that's great.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to hear that.
And I love being, I love just downtown areas. Like the little Main Street USA type thing. So.
Yeah.
Do either of you have a favorite horror movie?
Mine will always be Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, it's. I know it kind of bridges horror versus like thriller, psychological thriller, but it just that's still serial killers in general is just an absolute fascination to me. I absolutely love it.
I'd have to agree with you on that because I used to be very against some of the older kind of horror movies because I guess since growing up I was really desensitized with how the horror movies are nowadays.
Sure.
And it was last year actually that I started watching Psycho, the original Psycho. I love that movie so much. That movie actually scared me more than most movies do nowadays.
Well, see, it's one of these things where because of the way censorship was, back in the day, it's everything was all about implied scares, implied horror, and just like when you read a book, your mind puts so much more into the words when you're reading it than necessarily when you see it on screen. And I think that's what older horror movies used to do. But as a perfect example of exactly what you're saying, though, is our classic horror section in the front that's going to stay in the kid-friendly section because it's not very scary. Back in the day, when those movies came out, those were horror movies. It's like that's what people were scared by. But nowadays, it's like it's my kids can go and see Frankenstein. So yeah, I mean, and kind of back full circle to the serial killer thing. It's that whole. I just again just fascinated by it. I just love real life horror.
See, that kind of terrifies me. Those are not my favorite genre at all. Like certainly I've seen them all, but I love anything that has to do like with a sci-fi and horror mix. Like just that's absolutely my favorite genre.
So Aliens?
Yes, absolutely. That whole entire series, absolutely.
Aliens was a fun movie.
And that was actually the very first theatrical horror film I went to see, like back when I was 9 in the year that it came out, which was like 79 or 80 or something like that.
Oh, the original one, yeah.
I was 9. Anyway, and my mom took me to see it, and I was just like, so yeah.
Because she thought it was just a space movie.
No, my mom loves horror. That's how I turned out like I did. I blame this all on my mom. No, I mean seriously, like I just my mom made me watch all kinds of things, like probably very inappropriate for my age at the time.
But Alien versus Aliens is another classic case of
versus Predator.
Well,
wait,
no,
Aliens versus Aliens.
Alien versus Aliens.
Oh, sorry, 1 and 2. Sorry.
So with Alien. You really only see the alien a couple of times. So again, it's the way the music is played, the sound effects, the fact that they're just darting their eyes up because they can hear something scurrying away. Where you see them a lot more in the second. I've seen Aliens truly hundreds of times. It used to be my go-to movie when I'm just falling asleep. I'll put Aliens on just because I just love it. Alien, I think, is a better movie, but Aliens is way more watchable.
Okay, I understand that. Yeah, the first one had a much more atmospherical effect. Kind of drew you in, you're always waiting for something to happen. Whereas the other one, you're getting more visuals, and you're just like, it kind of like draws you away from like the intensity of it, and it's more, I guess, more action-y, I guess, to say.
Yes. And let's not mention Aliens 3.
Thank you. I was thinking that, last year we went through all the aliens, and once we got to 3, I was like, what is this? What's going on?
It was just so dreadful. I mean, Resurrection was okay, but 3 was like a fallacy of the series.
Have you seen Covenant?
I have. I thought that was okay. I thought that was watchable.
It was interesting. It was definitely. I wasn't expecting most of what happened in that movie.
It definitely was very. To me, it was very futuristic. Yes. You know, in the same way that Blade Runner 2049 was, where it's like, you know, the original Blade Runner and the original Aliens were very gritty, very dirty. Where everything was just so clean with the Covenant, and this is the same with Blade Runner 2049. It was just everything so clean. I don't know. I like things that are a little bit more dirty, I guess.
Gritty.
Gritty. Sorry.
So, do you guys have any scary experiences that you're willing to share?
Not genuinely, like, you know.
No, I mean, so the only one that ever happened, and not directly to me. When I used to live back in England for a while, my mum was running a hotel, and the hotel was an old staging house that dated back to like the 16th century.
What is a staging house?
So basically, when you'd have stagecoaches going around the country, they would, you know, for sake of argument, they would go from London to Bristol, and that would take several days, and so you'd stay off at a staging house, and it would be a hotel attached. And in one of the rooms, apparently, a woman hung herself. And so there was always tales of hearing noises in that room. Sometimes there was like a long staircase up towards where that room was. And if you're at the bottom of the staircase, you would catch something out of the corner of your eye. No one really ever really truly saw something. But there was this one story that was always told that the hotel had a bar, and a gentleman would come often with his dog, and the dog would just sit at his feet. This one evening, for whatever reason, the dog couldn't stay there. I can't remember why. And so they said, "Oh, put him upstairs." And the room where this woman had killed herself was effectively like the living room for the hotel. There was a TV there, couches and stuff like that. And so they basically put him in that room and closed the door. They came back several hours later, and the dog had basically all but scratched his way through the door.
Oh, whoa.
Just, you know, like almost made it all the way through. And again, who knows why? Maybe the dog was just wanted out.
Yeah.
Right, or
but yeah, that was always just kind of like maybe he felt a presence in there and stuff like that. That was the only thing that kind of even tangentially happened indirectly to me.
The only thing that has happened to me recently is you and the stupid Wise camera where you can talk both ways on it. Oh my God. So we get, you know, we're a store, we have cameras. And so rather than having the actual ADT cameras, he decides to expand it by adding these Wise cameras that also have like two-way, like
white up there.
Well, what would you call it? Just two-way audio?
So it's two-way communication. So
people can talk to their dogs, right, from their laptop and, watch how their dogs respond. Well, he decided to do that with his wife, apparently. So,
but it was one of the things where
I'm all alone.
I was trying to, I was texting her and she wasn't responding. She had her phone on silent, so when I was calling, she wasn't responding. But I could see the cameras that she's walking around, and so I'm like, I know, I'll just tap into one of the cameras and go, Dove.
Oh, no. But I was in the other room, and I couldn't hear the Dove part of it. I just heard a man's voice. And so I was like, hello, thinking, well, maybe I didn't hear the door make noise when it opens, because we have this, creak on the door that when it opens, it lets us know, rather than a ding-ding, that someone has entered or exited. It's just a more interesting way of doing the ding-ding thing. Anyway, so, I didn't hear that, but I'm like, okay, I'm like, hello. And so I'm walking slowly, because I'm because usually people make noise. You can hear them breathing or their jacket rustling or them picking items up, and it's just dead silence. And I was like, I know I heard a male voice. And so I'm going around there, he's watching me creeping.
And so I switched to a different camera because they all do it. And
right,
so I'm
and said it again.
Dove.
But it wasn't coming out as Dove. It was or something like that.
Because it was probably just picking the last part of
I don't know. It was some kind of a delay on it anyway. So I was concerned. Like, I was like, oh my God, there's somewhere in here with me. And then, like, when I simply couldn't find anyone, I almost called you to say, like, I need you to come down here and, like, make sure there's no one in here before. Because I was ready to, like, lock up and go. Like, I'm done.
But it wasn't, it was just, like, a couple of days later that you just happened to mention it, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, that was me trying to get hold of you because I couldn't text you. I couldn't call you. And she's like, yes, I hate you.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Well, why not? When I came home that night, didn't you say, like, oh, why didn't you, like, see me or, you know, or hear me?
I don't remember.
I don't know. But anyway, so it happens when you're married 21 years, stuff like that.
Oh, God, that's fun. So you said that you've done haunted houses before. Do you have any aspirations to do more?
No.
No?
This is our new thing.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. I mean, you know, anyone that listens that does haunted houses knows, but, you know, I would start in September, and I know some people literally are already planning what the haunted house is, but it started in September, and it was like, you know, every evening, every weekend, building the walls, getting everything together. It was like truly backbreaking labor because basically, just like we did with the store, I built I built everything, and then Dove came through and, you know, decorates and says, hey, can I, you know, I need a light here and a light here and a fog machine here, and so I'd go through. So, and that's why, you know, when we would open, again, I just wanted to sit down and I just loved hearing people go, oh my God, that was so cool, that was great. And it's the same thing I do in the store. It's like, as much as, yes, ideally we're making money in the store, if I heard nothing during the day other than people just walking in and saying, I love this place, you know, this is like the best place ever, I would go home happy every day. You know, I said, ideally we pay the rent as well. But
yeah, it's always a plus when that happens.
But yeah, it was a lot of work. So, you know, people have asked the same thing, like since we've been here, saying, oh, you know, so are you going to do more? And
this is just the next evolution of it. Yeah. You know? And, you know, a lot of the pieces in the store came from our home haunt, like our, you know, all the walls inside the haunted mansion area. Mm-hmm. That was
they all came from California.
Yeah. Oh my God, the people that moved us.
Our movers thought we were crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Half the stuff that they put in the truck, they were like, "What the?" Yeah.
Like the fishing dock. They're like, "What's this?"
Yeah. And I think some of the boxes had like, they weren't closed all the way up because we were like, you know, still packing as they were like taking shit out the door.
Right, severed heads.
Yeah, severed heads, and yeah, it was just yeah.
So on your like about me section on the Facebook page, we saw that you guys offer some classes. Do you guys still do that?
We're about to.
Yes.
Yeah, it took us a while to get the basement open. We've done 3 parties so far. I'm still working on the schedule. I just need to like barricade myself and actually post it. But we're going to do all sorts of prop make and takes where we have Warwick teach some of them, I'll teach some of them, but also some of the artists in the store will, you know, do a class on how to make the flickering LED like candles, you know, for your sconces, and how to make like fake blood
or zombie makeup or
I mean there's
just
just so many things that we, you know, are happy to teach. And we're also planning on doing all kinds of other things with the basement. We're planning on doing the horror movie nights. Well, he's going to do horror movie nights. He's in charge of that. And I just want to do Sunday mornings where it's just kaiju films, where kids just can come in, or adults come in there like, you know, little PJs, and, you know, we'll serve like cereal, and we'll just all sit there, eat our cereal.
Watching Godzilla.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because especially with the new Godzilla movie coming out on May 31st, like, I think kids need to be able to appreciate the original kaiju films and how cheesy they were. But like when you're a kid, they're not cheesy.
Oh, they're
fun.
Like
funneled through
awesome.
like the, you know, 4-year-old's mind or something. But like those were some of my first horror films that, not horror films, but, you know, like, when you're a kid, they're kind of scary, but they're fun scary. So I just remember seeing all of those when I was a little kid. So with my cereal bowl on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like seeing Godzilla looking like a guy in a suit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Falling over Tokyo and stuff.
But yeah, I think we're planning on doing those, and then we're gonna have all sorts of like author and artist signings in the basement, and then because as a children's photographer for so many years, I have a lot of the sets still that I can't seem to part with because I'm a big pack rat. But we're going to start doing some horror photography in the store, mainly in the basement. But the first step is the Easter Bunny portraits. So I got the really, if everyone listening wants to look at, well, you'll probably be able to look on our website by the time this comes out. But it's the costume I bought is Peter Rottentail, and it's this giant bunny with this big head. It has like 3-inch like
claws and stuff.
Well, fangs, and it just looks just wrong. It looks very rabid, and so that's our Easter Bunny. And then we're gonna play it like just off like the regular Easter pictures where people just come in with their dogs or their kids, and like the Easter Bunny is just all like
nasty looking.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So,
I'm going to need a photo of that.
Yeah, and then we're going to do like Krampus and, like just all the mainstays, for horror photography, and come up with like some like clown set. Everything, every theme you see in the store will probably have some sort of a photo event to tie in with.
Which is great because, Dove's first love was children's photography, so it kind of like enables us to kind of span that gap of the horror side to the photography side, and so it'll be good.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I'm glad that you guys are catering towards kids too, because like growing up, I always grew up on like Friday the 13th, all the classic slasher movies, and there was never anything for us.
Right.
And now seeing that there's something in our hometown for kids like that just warms my heart.
Yes, absolutely. That is just really important to me.
Yeah, and also it's we're firm believers of allowing your children to experience not necessarily like the gore of horror, but I think it's important that they see horror movies. Quite honestly, it's
more a sense of being in charge of the fear.
Right.
Like in other words. Because I don't want anyone listening to this going, what do you mean, show your children horror movies? But, like, if a child gets to, like, watch something that's kind of scary, then move on to the next scary thing. It's like, they're, like, taking these, like, little stepping stones to, like, have total mastery,
right.
Or should we say desensitization of, like, fear. But in other words, like, it just kind of makes you...
Yeah, and
a little bit braver. That's what I'm going for.
Right.
Sorry, that's
right.
Kids are a little bit more brave. They're not like afraid of everything, and like then there's so many kids out there that are, like they're so detached from pop like culture,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say they're the weird kids, but like I think parents have a responsibility to just like make their children well-rounded, and I think this is my store's. Or it's my attempt through the store to like make sure kids are kind of exposed to that part. And again, we have a kid-friendly front section, and that is they become older kids and tweens. They can walk into the back section.
And Dove hit it perfectly, which is it's even the store is set up as that progression. Mm-hmm. So you walk in and it's kid-friendly. There are some things that merge a little bit more into the scary things, the skulls and things like that. And then as you progress and as you get a little bit more comfortable, you can move into the more scary section. And we see it with kids all the time where they'll walk in the door, initially they'll be a little bit scared.
Yeah.
They'll look at the Demogorgon and go, and then they realize that it's not moving, it's not going to jump out of them. And then the parents move into the scary section and they're kind of sitting there outside, and then slowly they'll start working their way in, and within 5-10 minutes they're walking around and everything's fine.
And also, I go up and I'll poke at things and say like, this is so fake. Look at it. Oh my God, it's like it's all made of foam or rubber, and I'm like, go ahead and touch it, and so like the store is not meant to scare people. Mm-hmm. It's like about the art of horror. So like it's not a haunted house by any means, and I don't intend to like make kids like totally afraid. I want them to see how it's made. Like sometimes the heads in jars confuse kids, so like I'll open it up and say, look, it's just a photograph that's in a cylinder that's in the jar, and then when you add the water and the color tablets, you get the cool like displacement, and 3D effect, and they're like, oh, that's so cool, and but they're afraid of it 5 minutes before, if they're like 5, 6 years old. So, and again, like, I just think that, not so much horror, but like fear is a normal emotion, and things in life sometimes are scary, but I think if you're like, you know what to do when you're scared, like, you know that you get past it. I mean, I feel that I'm not afraid of a lot of things because I grew up around my mom who was just like, here, watch this horror film. Here, sit down and watch all these like Twilight Zones and night galleries and things like that. But, I think I turned out okay. So.
She did.
Well, I think it's really commendable that you guys are doing that for the kids, to kind of not like scaring them, because whenever you go to like Spirit or something, like the first thing that happens when you walk in, there's an animatronic thing that just scares the kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You always hear like some kid crying within 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
If they're working.
Yeah, if they're working.
They do for the first couple days.
Have either of you been approached to work on a film or possibly any theater products?
No.
Any interest?
Nobody ain't got no time for that, or whatever that saying is.
Yeah, it's right now, but everything is so busy just trying to keep the store moving forward, and as Dev said, it's like we're so far behind with getting the basement. The basement's now ready. We just have to get it publicized and pushed out there. I'm sure at some point in the future, maybe.
But if anyone says, "Oh my gosh, how'd you do this?" or "How'd you build this?" we totally tell them. I mean, it's not like some sore secret or something, and we're like, "Oh, we can't tell you." But if anyone wants to know how we built something, we always tell them. So if they want to do it for
now having said that, if HGTV wants to do like a day in the life of, well, I'll happily be on TV.
Yeah,
because you see so many of these like. I won't say lame, but there's so many TV shows out there of like someone's day-to-day life.
Yeah,
it's like, why can't you do it of a horror store or something interesting?
Exactly.
Or like well, I guess they do have the comic book store ones. So.
Yes,
comic book man. But yeah. Anyway.
So with you guys talking about Transworld, what would you say is the best part of the Transworld Halloween attraction show?
All the new stuff.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a new vendor there, like my heart is beating like fast, walking up to him, going, "Oh my god, what do they have that I haven't seen?" Like it's the element of surprise. It's just like, "Oh my gosh, what has someone else conjured up?"
And then they have a dark area, which we posted videos on for the store, where basically these.
It is all the jump scares.
Yeah, it's all the jump scares. It's all the you trigger a sensor and a thing slides down and something pops out at you. But some of those are so elaborate and just so amazing.
And so expensive.
Very, very expensive.
Like, how to spend $25,000 on one prop?
Yes, some of them are legitimately just incredibly expensive. But they're so well done. Some of them not so well done actually, but a lot of them are very, very well done.
We won't name names.
Yes. But yeah, so that's as Dove said. For me, I love the darkroom area, but it's definitely there are when you see new vendors that have interesting masks or interesting statues and things, it's incredible. Love it.
I want to go there like right now.
I do too.
So a while back, Dove actually mentioned in passing that you were really interested and you loved Shaun of the Dead.
Absolutely love it.
Same. Now, I heard on, I think it was like Instagram or something like that, Simon Pegg actually said that he had an idea for a sequel. And I just wanted to know, what are your thoughts on that?
I'd be first in line. That movie is it's such a classic, and it's such, it truly has everything. I mean,
I also think as a British, person, like you have like more of an affinity for it than.
Yeah,
I love it, but
there's definitely some British humor in there. That's unless you're an American that watches other British humor type things. I like certainly anything in the Cornetto trilogy kind of range for Simon Pegg. There's definitely it's a very British sensibility to a lot of the humor. but like the cricket bat and stuff like that. But just I that truly is probably my favorite kind of movie, which is the scary comedy, but not stupid comedy. Just it's still scary, but it's just done in such an amazing way. I absolutely love it.
I think my only question is Nick Frost going to reprise his role as a zombie in the shed?
That would be cool. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Who knows? I think I guess he's moved on to bigger things, but maybe not.
Yeah, he's still out there just playing like N64 or something.
Yes.
Or PlayStation.
Yeah, trying to get a job.
Well, that's right. They did have jobs at the end of that movie. I completely forgot about that.
So, with how you guys have the store set up right now, how close have you guys come to your original thought of it, your original design?
It's
definitely morphed a lot. I mean, obviously the original design was to have art on every wall, which we've pretty much done.
But yeah, it's filled out. I mean, the minute we kind of started running out, there are areas of the store I'd like to have more product in, but for the most part, I'd say it's probably about like 80% of what we envisioned.
Yeah, I mean, like Halloween.
Gotta give yourself something to strive for.
Halloween of last year was probably, it was right around that time that we realized that we were running out of wall space. And that was not a problem before that. But, that was the first point where we started realizing that, yes, it would be nice to have more space, more areas. And that's why, we changed some of the front area so that we now have like the shelves and stuff, so we can use both sides of the shelves and things like that. But as we were saying before, being this is our first retail store, there are things that we've found out as we've kind of gone along, and that's changed the way we've had the store laid out. The Cthulhu section, again, being a perfect example. I think that first week we had one Cthulhu piece. You guys bought it, and so I think probably the next time in we had like 2 or 3 pieces. You guys bought that as well, and so
so like any successful store has to look at what's being purchased when you're.
And we now have a Cthulhu section.
Yes, yes.
And I have all of those set up in my studio right now.
The same thing for the atomic lace. We realized that teenage girls are probably our number one customer. Not so much in terms of dollars, but in terms of quantity. And so we really expanded and gave a dedicated area to the pins and stickers and choker necklaces.
All the creepy cute stuff.
That sell very, very well.
Okay.
Well, I think that draws to a close of the question part.
One last
except
question.
for one last one. I keep forgetting that one because it's out of order.
Okay.
So you guys have an abundance of artists. How would an artist go about contacting you about inquiring how to sell their stuff?
Well, basically, I'd urge them to just contact us via the website, via email, or on social media with just examples of their work and kind of the price range they're hoping to sell the work in, and if it fits within the theme of the themes that we have and is good, then we'll likely say yes. I mean, we get a lot of submissions that are really abstract or just, I wouldn't know what to do with it once it came into the store. So, like, those are the ones I have to politely decline. But, yeah, I mean, just get in contact with us and, we'll look at the work and, most likely say yes. And
to add to that, as we were saying a little bit before, for the first few months when we first opened, and we did have so much open space on the walls, our criteria was a little bit less, and so if someone does submit something and is ultimately rejected, please understand that it's we have so little space available to us right now that as Duff said, it's like it really has to perfectly match the theme,
right, and
area.
Not conflict with anything that we already have. Like, because I really have to have the styles different, because that's not fair to the existing artist if suddenly you bring in someone who's doing pretty much the same thing. So, like, I have said no to a lot of people because I said, like, we have someone that does that already. Like the dolls, we get that all the time. And I'm really happy with the doll artists we have, so. But what else was I going to say? But, like, I'm always looking on eBay and Etsy, sorry, not eBay. Sorry, Etsy and DeviantArt and ArtStation, and certainly at all the cons we go to. That's probably where I get the majority of the art, because I'll find something, or he'll find something that we like a lot, and then we'll contact the artist. So
perfect. Okay. Well, all the links will be provided down in the description below, so get on at that if you're an artist and you want to inquire about that.
Yes.
Or stop in at the store.
Yeah, I definitely encourage anyone to stop in at the store just so they can see the sections we have too, or like,
just so they get an idea of the kind of artwork that we're currently selling, because that's kind of what we're trying to do. And then, to add to that, it's we generally don't sell one-offs. There are exceptions to that. The dolls, as we said before, are one-offs. But in terms of the artwork, art prints,
it's nice to have art prints rather than originals.
Right. Just because, also that keeps our price point lower. For anyone that's been at the store, generally most of our art prints are between $10 and $25. Plus or minus, a little bit here and there. So our goal is to try and make it so that
it's affordable. So
it's affordable.
So like when you go, similar to the feeling when you go to a convention, you go booth to booth, and you have like $50. You're like, oh, I just bought like 4 or 5 things. Like it's like I just don't want super expensive things in the store, because I know I can't afford super expensive things when I go to a con. So, it's just I want to keep it so that the average person can get several things when they come into the store. So.
Okay. All right, so now we are going to this
Would you like to play a game?
Essentially.
I want to play a game.
This is a game that we made. We've been throwing this idea out for a little while, and we finally got a story down. And this is our first game. We're going to come up with many more.
Okay.
Yes.
This is the new Will You Survive series.
And just to make it fun, we're going to relate this to Ghoulish Mortals. We're about to go into the back part of ours, so if you have any kids that are listening right now, don't let them listen to this part.
This is.
I'm intrigued.
Effectively, this is the back part of the store.
Yeah, this is the gory horror section.
Yes.
Okay.
So the way this game is going to start off is, what's the lead-in you want to give for this?
Well, the premise of the game is that you have died, and death is
Maybe.
Well, I mean, you're in death clutches. You're in that in between life and death. Death is giving you an opportunity to come back to life, but you have to play this game, and it's called Chancing Death. And based off of the descriptions that we give you, you gotta have to try to make your way through, depending on their choices given.
Okay. Oh, so we're gonna have to agree upon our direction, because there's 2 of us.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So you awake in the middle of a field. There's nothing in the near vicinity. In the distance, you see trees that may be a forest of sorts. You look behind you to see what looks like a gravel path leading into the shadows. Both paths give off a mysterious vibe. Which way do you go? Towards the trees or towards the gravel path?
Now this first one, to make it interesting, we have decided that we're going to introduce a die. So you guys just roll, and that will decide which way you go towards. 4.
That's a 4.
So that is towards the trees.
Towards the trees. You reach the tree line, though the trees are dead, and so you find yourself venturing through some deep swamp water. Something brushes against your legs. Do you reach in and swat at it, or do you just ignore it?
So we roll again?
Nope. This is all free
okay.
choice.
Now you guys get free choice.
Okay, so it's brushed against a leg. We got to reach in and grab it, right?
I think we're supposed to swat it. We're not supposed to like grab it and like sink our teeth into it or something to kill it.
Okay, so we swat it.
You swat
it?
Yeah.
All right.
Kick the hornet's nest, yes.
You swat at the water. The water erupts a few feet away from you. A monster with tentacles and 7 eyes erupts, sending you into a panic. You flee from the water, losing your sense of direction. You end up on a large, open, bloody plain of grass. It's littered with corpses. The smell is overwhelming. You walk cautiously when suddenly you hear the sound of bones crunching behind you. It's a horrific, rotting monster that looks as though if it were once human but succumbed to the plague. It swings at you. It misses but knocks you over. You see a long, sharp metal pole next to you. About 20 feet away is a mysterious-looking red barrier, as if it's made of light. Do you fight the monster, or do you run to the mysterious red barrier?
Oh, I fight the monster.
Absolutely.
There's lots of bones.
The monster raises his arm and swings at you. You thrust a long metal pole into its chest. Black ooze and mold fall off in rotting chunks from the beast. It screams in agony, but walks closer as the metal pole sinks deeper. You're frozen in terror as it reaches forward, sinking its claw-like fingers into your collarbone. You scream at the top of your lungs as it reaches with its other hand-like thing and tears the skin away from your face, exposing your skull.
Ah, fuck.
As your heart skips and rattles to a halt, your exposed eyes fade to darkness and are promptly plucked from your skull. You are dead.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a quick story.
Well, we could, if you'd like, we could start over, and one thing that we'd like to do, because there is a couple ways that you could actually restart the game, pretty much we'll push you guys down to the other path now.
Okay.
So now you guys are going to start heading towards the gravel path.
Okay, so the gravel path. You walk down the shadow-ridden path. Complete darkness surrounds you. Though you are terrified, you continue on with stride. You see a light in the distance after what feels like miles. An out-of-tune melody plays somewhere in the distance. As you near the lights, you realize it's a carnival or a circus of sorts. You stand at the front gate looking in. The front gate is technically open, so you could enter. So when suddenly you hear in a low-hanging voice, "Ticket, please." I'm not doing the voice.
We did a really funny voice last night.
Ticket, please.
Ticket, please!
That's really close to what he said.
You turn around to see a large figure that looks like a clown, though you can't see its face. They ask for the ticket again, but more agitated. Do you talk to them about the ticket, or do you just run into the circus?
I always want to be polite.
British. Yeah, okay. Warwick will engage in hopefully
In conversation
polite conversation
about the
ticket, yes.
All right. You turn to the man, though frightened. You tell them that you don't have a ticket. The man then reaches to his shoulder and removes a long, stringy piece of flesh and hands it to you. Here's your ticket. You take it reluctantly, not knowing what to say. The second it leaves his hands, he erupts like a blood volcano, and his torso becomes a bloody mist. His knees fall to the ground, spasming. This sends you into a sprint, leading you into the circus. The fear drives you to not think clearly, and at a second glance, you realize that you cannot see the entrance anymore. A scream comes from your right as you notice an out-of-control merry-go-round. Upon further inspection, you realize that there seems to be children stuck on the ride. To your left is the sound of loud slushing noise and hysterical laughter. Do you go to the merry-go-round, or do you go towards the laughter?
The children are doomed. Let's go the other way.
Yeah, that's right. Away from the children.
I love that rationale.
Alright, so you go towards the hysterical laughing, obviously on your guard. You turn a corner to find a clown kneeling over someone, playing with their organs. The clown is using the blood as clown paint. The clown looks up with its glowing golden irises and smiles, and laughs at you while making eye contact. They stand up and press a button, still laughing. The ride behind them, the swinging chair ride, has started. Though the chairs have been removed, corpses hooked on chains and ropes dangle and spin.
Nice.
Some of the bodies still alive, attempting to remove themselves from the hooks, writhing in agony. The clown holds out his hand and offers you the organs. Do you take them or do you leave them?
Why do we want organs? Do we leave them? Why would he be giving us organs?
Maybe the key to stop the ride is like inside of them.
Did you want to take the organs?
Not really.
Well, it seems like we have to kind of progress to the areas that we wouldn't think we should. Although we did that with the zombies and that didn't work out too well.
Not at all. I don't want the organs.
Yeah.
No organs?
No
I
organs.
have enough.
Okay. You have enough.
For now.
Hopefully not in little jars.
Yes.
The clown continues to laugh maniacally. You see your only exit behind him. It's a funhouse. You calmly walk around the clown, who just laughs and watches you. Still holding the organs. You make it out to the funhouse without a problem. The clown is dancing by himself now. The mirrors in the house are all down a hallway focusing on you. At the end of the hallway is a door that reads exit. It has a machine to put your ticket in. However, as you take a step forward, the mirrors begin to tremble, and the reflections of you stare back with a malevolent frown. There is no turning back, mainly because there is no other funhouse mirror. Or wait. There is no turning back, mainly because there is another funhouse mirror where the door once was behind you. The hysterical laughing seems to come from every mirror now. Do you run for the door at the end of the hall, or do you attempt to start breaking the mirrors?
Well, we have the ticket, right? So we should probably run to the door.
What's the ticket gonna do?
I don't know, but there's a door with it says tickets. I say we go towards the door.
Does it? Is there a door that says tickets?
There's a machine at the end of the hall by the door. It says that you can put your ticket in.
Right.
All right. You want to put the ticket in?
Yeah, let's go that way.
Okay. You make it down the hall, the mirrors shattering behind you. You insert your ticket and unlock the door. As you push it open, you take a look back to see an ominous figure standing there. It looks like you. It smiles and winks before stepping back into the shadows and disappearing. You made it out alive! Good for you! Now it's just a matter of how to stop the continuous visions of Juggles, the laughing clown. Good luck.
So we made it out?
You made it!
You made it out!
You made it! Yes!
Awesome!
Yes, actually, I think that's the first time anybody has ever made it out of all the testing that we've done. You actually made it.
Yeah.
Wow,
No,
second time's
For the
charm.
win.
Yeah. Yeah, it was having an us moment there, like the
Yes.
the creepy like twin inside the fun
Have you
house.
seen us yet?
No, is it good?
Oh, it is excellent. It's really, really good. Don't be put off by the first 20 minutes are really slow, but when it starts getting going,
Well, it's one of those things where when you look back on it, then you realize what a good movie it was. Maybe
Right.
during, like, it was still entertaining. It was worth my $8, totally,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. But it was just like afterward when you start.
and there is a great twist.
Yeah,
Great twist.
we enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really like Jordan Peele's directing style, and I'm so glad he's going to be doing Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That starts tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Tomorrow night.
First one.
I got chills. I'm happy.
What studio's doing it? Are they dropping it all at once, or is it a like episodic, like once a week?
It's once a week because I think it's on that CBS All Access.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So.
Definitely have to look into that.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think that will draw this episode to a close.
We survived.
I know, right?
The podcast and the hypothetical like doom and gloom game.
I will
was fun.
say, there are some horrific deaths in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like it. Yeah, the whole like face being ripped off thing, and yeah, we
Sounds
like
good.
it.
Yeah, it definitely takes a saw turn.
It does.
Yeah. Definitely gets...
You should automate the script though. So no, that way as you're going through, it's more just like a click here to so that the questions go
Said the
through.
programmer.
Says the programmer.
Yeah, right now it's all kind of in like a beta form right now.
Well, before we draw this to a close, do you guys want to just list out where everyone can find any of your stuff at online?
Just the Ghoulish Mortals website at
www.ghoulishmortals.com.
Instagram,
which is Ghoulish Mortals Chicago. Facebook is just Ghoulish Mortals. Twitter is Ghoulish Mortals.
Screw Twitter.
Yeah, we don't really do that much on Twitter. It's basically almost everything goes to Instagram and then directly onto Facebook because of the link. That's about it.
And come on in. That's the best way to see it all.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us on our show.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah,
It's been great.
It's been great.
Yeah, after meeting you all these months and talking about the podcast and finally actually being on it is
It's our first podcast too.
absolutely.
Oh, well, we're honored.
Well, thank you very much.
You guys have a good one.
And as always, you guys can follow us at Witches Hill Radio. I almost said witcheshillradio.com. That's not right.
No, you don't have a .com yet.
Facebook.com/witcheshillradio. You can send all your inquiries for promotions and stuff to witcheshillradio@gmail.com. And as always, check in on Wednesdays for the 6 o'clock releases.
We'll see you guys later.
Later.
Witches Hill.